Give us an overview of practice today. You had the officials, you had full pass and contact.
Excuse me, yeah. Look, our plan was to get a scrimmage in. We were able to do that. I thought we got a lot of work done. We probably got through about 8 different roles. We implemented the kicking game throughout. I thought we handled the heat pretty well. And there'll be a lot of film for us to watch now and get on with our players. Overall, it's not until you watch the tape. There were some good things, some things obviously that we'll need to be better at. But I thought it was good work this morning.
Sean, could you talk about the day for DJ Sparinger and what you've seen about from him overall? He seems like he had a good day today.
Yeah, look, he's a veteran player. I feel like I know the player well. We've played against him at a couple of teams. He was at Washington. He was at Arizona. He's someone that can do a number of things. I think, he's someone that's helping us in the kicking game as well. So his versatility, obviously his football IQ, all of those things are positives for us. I think he's a real good run player. And so I've kind of been encouraged with the camp he's having. And, I think football is real important to him.
Sean, a lot of times between seasons 1 and 2, obviously you see growth in a player. Are you seeing the growth that you guys want to see out of CJ?
Say it again.
I said a lot of times between seasons 1 and 2, you see a lot of growth in a player. Are you seeing the growth you're hoping to see out of CJ?
Yeah. Look, he's played mostly in the nickel. We've kind of moved him around. He has strong safety flex. He's dime flex. I think he's a good athlete. He's got good ball skills. So, yeah, I think he's going to continue to obviously get more and more work and be an important part of what we're doing defensively. So I've been encouraged.
Sean, what's your assessment of the backup quarterbacks at this point in camp? Are they where you want them to be or expected them to be at this point?
Well, they're never where you want them to be. You're always, as a coach, wanting more and more. I think they're two different type players, and yet I really like the room. I think obviously Taysom gives us a different type of threat at that position, and I think Jameis has come in and picked things up very quickly, and he's had a few. This last week for him has been really positive. So I'm encouraged with their work. I think it's a good room overall, and I feel like we've got some versatility at that position.
P-Rob has seemed to have a few good practices, good start to camp. What have you seen from him?
Well, he's turned the ball over a few times for us and taken it away. He's stayed healthy. He's a real good foot athlete. He can run. And I would say your observations are correct. I think he's playing pretty well.
Sean, how do you decide with Taysom Hill? It seems like every summer he gets these 4 weeks, 6 weeks to play quarterback and install as a quarterback. When do you turn the calendar and say, all right, now we got to prepare you to be playing all those other roles that you're going to play?
Well, look, he's playing those other roles in the kicking game right now. And, when he goes in and plays some of the F-Force, we kind of evolve into what we want to do each week by game plan. He's very smart, and he understands the overall scheme. So, we'll slowly have an install plan relative to how we see him fitting in when he's not a quarterback. But he's playing in the kicking game units just like he always has. And, he provides a lot of versatility.
Have you seen...
I'm sorry?
Anything in particular in his development? Is it 1 month is all you really get to really...
Yeah, look, he's got a real good grasp as to what we're doing offensively. We keep pushing the tempo, but, he understands our protections well. And I think that... with the reps that he's getting, the reps that Jameis are getting, all of those things, we're building on, making corrections. So it's a process with those guys.
Sean, would you say it's almost surprising a little bit how quickly Sheldon Rankins has sort of returned and looks quick again? Would you say you're at all surprised by that? I'm sure if so, it's a pleasant surprise. Agreed?
Yeah, look, I think so, and yet I think realistically back in the winter when we're projecting when players will be healthy and when we see them being able to be in technically full go, this was expected. He's someone that is a tireless worker. He spent a lot of time in his recovery and rehab here, and I'm encouraged to see him move around because he's a big plus for us inside, not only versus the run, but particularly in the passing situations.
Can I follow up on the defensive line and just talk about the depth there? I mean, you signed a guy like Marcus Hunt, who's been in the league for a long time, and I guess potentially how difficult cuts could be because you have so much depth and seemingly a lot of talent there.
Yeah, I would agree. I think we're a little deeper there than we have been in recent years, or really for the most part since I've been here. It's helped us because we're playing a lot of players throughout the course of the game. And I think Ryan and that group over on the defensive side of the ball have really done a good job of developing those guys. We're seeing a number of the younger players come on. Trey Hendrickson's playing well. Carl Granderson's playing well. We've added a few guys that have come in here and not only on the inside but on the outside. Roach, the young players, had a good camp. Those are good problems to have, and we'll see how this thing unfolds here in 2 weeks.
Sean, is Jameis more
Troutman's blocking ability kind of held up the way you guys were thinking it would?
Say that again.
Is Adam Troutman's blocking ability kind of held up the way y'all thought it would?
Yeah, look, he's working on that. I would say he's probably a little further along in the passing game, and yet, man, he's grinding on these installs. I think he's a good study, and so a lot of that is time on task, and we see improvement each day. So I've been encouraged with the camp he's had.
Sean, is Jameis more aggressive than the other quarterbacks in going down the field? It all seems like maybe he goes down a little more than the other two.
I don't know. He's made some plays down the field. He's certainly confident with his arm strength. He's got exceptional arm talent. He's done a good job, I think, working in the pocket. And I see someone who's athletic enough to climb and make some of those funny body throws. But he's also, understood and stayed within the offense that we're running. So a lot of it's his confidence level, and not only the play, but the receivers outside.
When you guys are evaluating him, is it more you're looking at his decision than like complete, incomplete? Like what's that? Is it just day by day you want to see he's making better decisions? Look,
it's all the above. Where's he going? Is it the right decision? What's his feet look like? His mechanics look like, and then. How well is he doing it? The first job for that position is to move the ball and get the team in the end zone, and so you're evaluating every part of that.
Y'all are in the dome tomorrow.
He had enough time.
I'm sorry again?
Y'all are in the dome tomorrow. What are you looking to get out of that?
Just getting used to. Tomorrow will be really getting a feel for the turf. Every year they lay a new turf in there. There's a mixture of rubber and sand. Sometimes it's a little too spongy, sometimes maybe a little firm. So the first time we're in there, we're having a practice, but you're also getting used to the footing. And then there's enough time between that practice and when we practice again next week for them to add one or the other, roll it some more. So it's really the footing. And then obviously the lighting and all the other elements that some of these guys haven't experienced yet.
Is it a big setback for Ruiz to not be able to play today just because of the amount of team you did when there's not that much time left to get those reps?
Yeah, he'll be fine. I think that, look, we're dealing with a player that's very smart, and he'll be back very quickly and getting the work again. Obviously, you'd love to have all of your players out there, but it's just the way it is.
Do you see Malcolm Jenkins coming back this week? It's what sure it was injury related.
Yeah, at some point. Yeah, at some point, you definitely.
Sean, when you design stuff for a guy like Deontay Harris as a play caller or a play designer, I know this sounds goofy, but for you, is that fun to try to come up with ways to get him the ball in space? Do you enjoy that part of, play designing?
I think all of us, we enjoy the part where it works in a game. Yeah, I mean, it's our job, and it is fun, but you're trying to come up with different ways that fit what we're doing, and then when it comes to fruition on a Sunday, I think anytime as a teacher you see one of your students do well, that's why you do it.
Would it be safe to say that Deontay gives you sort of a unique package to work with? Maybe you haven't had anybody quite like him before. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, we've had a few other unique players, but I would agree with you. He's got a skill set that obviously gets us excited, and we can build on it. And I would agree with you.
Sean, is there more of an emphasis on finding players like CJ who can do a lot of things defensively and play a lot of different positions? Are you finding maybe more of those players now a couple of years ago?
Yeah, look, I think there's a little bit more pressure on the defenses to find guys that can cover in man and play in the nickel, play in the dime. People say it's a passing league, and part of that's true. Obviously, you've got to be able to tackle and play the run well. But his versatility is an asset, certainly.
Sean, are Taysom and Jameis competing to be the number 2 quarterback, or you liked the setup last year where Jameis could go into a game if needed, so Taysom could be playing that other role on a game?
Look, number one, they're always competing, Mike. I mean, every practice, and the roles that they'll have for us on game day will be determined, and yet every practice out here, these guys are trying to put their best foot forward and improve. All right, thank you, guys.
Thank you.
First question's going to go to Amy Just. Amy?
Yeah, you've had a busy week, birthday, being a dad. What has this been like for you?
Oh man, this has been an incredible week. To have the opportunity to be in the hospital and be with my wife and to welcome our first child into the world was one of the best moments that my wife and I have experienced together. So we've been through that process and we're trying to figure it out. But it's been an incredible week for the Hill family for sure.
Next question from Mike Triplett. Mike?
Hey, Taysom, obviously we know your career arc, that you want to be a quarterback ultimately and you're willing to play this role you've played in the meantime. How does that play out during summer and training camp? I mean, you're obviously so focused right now on quarterback. Do you feel like this is my 1 month where I get to show how much I've developed and learn at this position, and then I have to put it on the back burner for another 10 months? Or
Yeah.
How do you treat that?
Yeah, I think that's probably a fair assessment. As I get into the off season, I'll tell you my focus is really on becoming as good of a quarterback as I can. I would say through my workout and stuff, I make sure that I try to implement enough, strength training, conditioning to make sure that I can do all the things that I'm asked to do. But right now is kind of a special time for me where I get to hone in, really learn from Drew on the field, learn from the coaches, be coached hard, and it is a really fun time for me to do that. And I think as we look forward to the season, we all know that there's going to be different things to what I'm doing, but I also think that can continue to expand as well, and maybe it means a little more quarterback looking into the future of the season. But some of those things we'll just continue to see how it plays out.
And then in this off season in particular, no preseason games and really less time to work with the starting offense probably. How do you measure your growth and development? Where do you see yourself at right now?
Yeah, I mean, it's a little disappointing, not having preseason games for a guy like me, because it really is an opportunity to make sure that I'm getting live reps, game time reps in those games. But I think right now the focus is making sure that I take every practice rep that I get like it's a game situation, make sure that I go out to practice having everything ready to go. And I think we've really done a nice job this year of treating practices, like game reps, making sure we're taking care of each other. But even if it's not a full speed tempo, making sure mentally we're sharp, I'm sharp as a quarterback to make sure that when we get to these first games, we're ready to go.
Questions from John DeShazer. Taysom, first of all, congratulations. Second, in your multiple roles, do you feel like you're able to play more quarterback now because you know those other roles so well? You don't really need to focus as much on them during this time.
Yeah, I think that's fair. As I've had conversations with other position coaches, the way that this whole thing started was I never really did it in training camp. This was an experiment that happened in the middle of the season. So as we look at how that evolved, I wasn't practicing this in training camp. I just kind of went and did it. And I think that we've just kind of adopted that mentality. I think as we're getting closer to game time, I'll start to take a few more reps doing different things, just so, as the week leading up to Tampa is not the first time that I'm doing some of this stuff.
Next question is going to be from Luke Johnson.
Just considering your own journey and having that really successful first preseason as a rookie in Green Bay, what do you kind of think about guys who maybe are in the position you were in once, not having that opportunity to kind of show what they can do in games?
Yeah, I mean, this is a conversation that I've had with a number of people. I'm obviously disappointed. I think that the young guys, the undrafted free agents, are the ones that are hurt the most without doing this. And frankly, I don't know if I'd be here if this was my situation in 2017, my rookie year. So, the nice thing is, at least for the Saints, Coach has created opportunities where guys can showcase what they do. Today was a great example of that. But, these guys are missing out on opportunities to build a resume for the other 31 teams. So we've had conversations with a few young guys, I have specifically, and it's really just, man, you got to make sure that you take advantage of every rep you get in practice.
Next question is from Amos Morale.
Yeah, Taysom, you mentioned kind of what your focus is on during training camp, but what are some of the areas you kind of worked on and some of the areas you were looking to improve?
Yeah, I would say the more comfortable I get inside the offense, the better I have played. And so I would say making sure that I get through my reads quickly. If you look at Drew and as I study his tape, his ability to get a play, get it called, get up to the line of scrimmage, recognize what the defense is trying to do, and then assessing where, and how we're going to attack that defense with the play that we have called. So there's a lot going on from when the play's called from when it's actually ran. And so I'd say for me, it's making sure I speed that process up, making sure I'm not late with my decision-making, throws. And then, as a quarterback, I don't think you can ever stop working on, accuracy, your footwork, and getting through your progression. And so I would say that has been my main focus, has really been, the mental side of everything and trying to expedite that process.
Next question is from Amy Just.
Jameis, he goes from, being your division rival and always in your position room with you, every day. What have you seen from him as he's, adjusted to becoming a Saint?
Yeah. I've really enjoyed having Jameis around. Jameis is a guy that's brought a lot of energy into the QB room. You can tell he loves football. And so he has been a lot of fun to have in the QB room. This is a room that's really close, and we all get along really well. And Jameis stepped in, and he's really fit in well with us. And it's going to be a great room this year. And I think that obviously with Drew, the way that he is, it's going to be a productive room.
That should wrap it up. Thank you, Taysom.
Thanks, guys.
Have a good one. First question from Mike Triplett.
Hey, CD, you've made our jobs harder as we're trying to figure out how to type your name and everything. Can you just explain what you meant by wanting to be CD Deuce? Meaning, like, are you even exploring like a legal name change? Or are you just talking about a nickname that means a lot to you? And what's the background?
It's complicated, but at the end of the day, it's like right now I'm focused on football. My coaches call me Deuces, so that's why I put the word Deuce, and I put CD because it's something that, like, I'm my own person, I want to be my own person. I'm named after my biological dad. I changed my name for my stepdad, but I feel like going into year 2, something I want to be by myself. I just want to be focused on how can I help this team win a Super Bowl, like what's my best option. But the name change, that's just something that I want to go by. The legal part, we'll talk about that later, but for right now, I'm just focused on football. I'm ready to win football games.
So both are okay in print? You're not offended if somebody still calls you CJ Gardner-Johnson?
Nah, I'm not.
Next one's from Amy Just.
Yeah, that was going to be my question, but we can talk about defense. Going from year 1 to year 2, how do you feel that you've grown from last year to this year?
I feel like this year was a good year. My fault for sweating, but we got to practice. I feel like dealing with what's going on now, having Malcolm coming, an older guy who's been there, done that, won 2 Super Bowls. I feel like we're learning as a defense on how to be a team, something that's together. And being together is just like knowing your assignment, knowing your alignment, knowing who you are, knowing your role in the team, and just being there for each other.
Next question is from John Brazier.
CJ, just talk about your growth. I know Coach Payton says you play in multiple roles. You played multiple roles last year. How much more familiar with it are you, and how much more effective do you believe you can be?
Very dynamic. Wherever they put me, I'm just going to play. I'm not really worried about who in my way, what I got to do. Like, Coach Payton drafted me for a reason to be a dynamic player. That's what I did last year. And this year, I'm going to keep doing the same thing, keep improving mentally as a person, as a player, and just go out there and focus on my job and do what I got to do. Because at the end of the day, I know I'm good at what I do, so there's no need for me to continue to try to outdo myself. If that makes sense.
How much mentally do you have to put into it because you play in the multiple positions?
A lot. You got to go home and study. Like, this is not a game. Like DA said, the game is 90% mental, 10% physical. So the moment I can go out there and be 90% mental and focus on my job, cool. Physical part can come later because everybody know you can be 210 pounds, 215 pounds, but that don't mean nothing if you don't know what you're doing on that field.
Next question's from Luke Johnson.
Kind of related on that, what's the most difficult thing you had to do? What's the thing that's like that kind of stresses your skills the most if you're doing a bunch of different things?
It's not really stress. It's more of a how can I dial in and put everything into a box to make sure that I'm on point for my teammates. So it's not really a stress. It's more, this is my job. I wake up, eat, sleep, dream football. So my job is to go out there and do my assignment, do what I got to do.
Next question's from Mike Triplett.
Can you give me your scouting report on Alvin Kamara as a fellow versatile guy that you line up across the field from all the time?
As a jack of all trades, you know, you can't really put your finger on one thing. You do. He can run the ball, he can catch the ball. He also can just be that all-around dynamic back for the whole offense. You know, like I said, he can go out wide, come in the slot, he can go in the backfield. So it throws the team off by seeing a guy like him move around and do what they got to do every day, or him do what he do every day.
Next question's from Amy Just.
Yeah, you touched on it a little bit, but just how beneficial, helpful has it been for you and all the other young DBs to have Malcolm Jenkins specifically in that room?
It's been easy. Like with Malcolm, he opened eyes to what's more than just football, you know. You got to study the game. You got to actually study your opponent's habits, your opponents, like what do they do for, like, their daily game routine is something that they go in with every Sunday. So that's something that you got to pay attention to. Like, okay, his stance, his alignment. Okay, what is he looking at for the play? What is he not looking at for the play? So stuff like that. I got like that. He's teaching us little things. It's just helping us grow as a defense.
Next one's from Mike Triplett.
When Taysom Hill comes in there, what is your thought change to as a DB? I mean, obviously you have to be on the lookout for all different stuff with him, I guess.
Get ready to get physical, because you know it's like that guy. He's an athlete. He's an ultimate competitor. He's a definition of a Saints player in the Saints way. Somebody who's gonna get it done regardless on offense, special teams, which is considered a defense. Somebody that you got to really take home to, because that's a guy that really gets the team going with how he plays. And you can see last year, I think it was Minnesota. You know, we was down, made a couple big runs, big plays that sparked the whole team and got everybody going. So a guy like Taysom is somebody you can really rally around, because you see him make plays on special teams with block punch. You see him do a lot of things. So a guy like me just sit back and just learn from him, because sometimes it might not be his day. Sometimes it might be the next guy's day to make a play on defense or special teams. So just learning from a guy like Taysom and seeing him step on that field and give his ultimate goal and give his all is just something that you love to see. So you got to go and match him.
Next one's from Luke Johnson.
We kind of hear about like the positionless player on defense. Do you consider yourself as like a guy with a position, or how do you think about it?
Nah, put me anywhere. I don't really care. Like Coach Payton, I don't really care where I'm lined up. I just play football.
Next question's from Kyle Mosley.
Practice was crazy.
Hey, CD, you said a few weeks ago you're ready for Gronk. How do you feel about week 1?
Man, let's go. How am I supposed to feel? Like, everybody got this routing this game up. Let's play football. Like, I realize it's more than just 2 Gronk. It's Tampa Bay. And that was the off-season talk. Now we're in camp. I'm with my teammates. We're playing ball. So now it's going out there having fun, and how can we practice better and get better than the next team each day when we step on that field. And I feel like in a couple weeks we're going to be ready. We're going to be ready.
All right, CJ, thanks for your time.
Thank you. Practice was hot, boy.
Yeah, I know.
the chat again and get started. First one's from Amy Just.
Hey, Malcolm. What's it been like for you to essentially, be less than 100 miles from home playing for, your hometown NFL team?
And like I've been saying, it's like a dream come true. Something I dreamed about for a long time, and just making the most of this opportunity every time I come here every day. Working my tail off and just trying to get better every day. And like I said, it's a dream come true to be here.
Next question's from Amos Morale.
Yeah, you mentioned trying to make some plays. What's kind of been your goal as you've been out at these practices?
My biggest goal is just to get better every day. Just to do things to pop off on the screen, be noticed and things like that, and just get better every day. Do what Coach Nielsen telling me with the technique, and once I do those things, and when we get out there on the field, I feel like it's helped me make plays and things like that.
And what's been some of the feedback you've gotten from Coach Nielsen and some of the other coaches?
He just tell me to continue to play hard, continue to do what I've been doing, and just continue to learn. Each day I come in, they tell me I'm like a sponge, just trying to learn, and just being around those veteran guys with Malcolm Sheldon and Cam and David. They've been able to coach me up on things that coach sometimes can't see when we out there on the field, and it's just been a lot of help around, helping me get better every day.
Next question's from Amy Just.
Yeah, that was my question. What have, some of those guys like Cam, Malcolm, Sheldon, insert guy here, what have they been telling you?
They just keep on telling me to continue to play hard and continue doing what I've been doing. I feel like I'm gaining those guys' respect. Every day I come in and they just see the tenacity and the motivation I play with, and that's the biggest things I'm trying to do. Just gain those guys' respect, and once I'm able to gain my peers' respect, I feel like I'll be able to fit in with the team just like them.
Next question's from Luke Johnson.
Are you being asked to do a similar thing to what you were asked to do in Texas, or do you have kind of a new role here at the pros?
Yeah, I'm moving around positions, going from both interior positions. So not as much move around as I did in college and things like that. Here is just, mainly those two positions, and just making the most of it.
Next question's from Amos Morale.
Yeah, you guys are going to practice in the Dome tomorrow. I know as a kid growing up in Louisiana, just how excited are you every time you get to go play inside there?
I'm very excited. Growing up in Louisiana, that's the one thing you dream of, playing in the Dome. If you're playing in the Dome, you're either playing in the state championship, or you playing in the Sugar Bowl, or you playing for the Saints. So growing up as a kid, that's one thing I always dreamed about. Anytime I got the opportunity to play in the Superdome, just make it memorable, and every time I did that, I tried to.
Next one's from Luke Johnson.
Have you learned any moves from some of these guys, like you picking up a Sheldon Rankin spin move or anything like that?
Yeah, I've been working on the spin move with Sheldon. I got it in there a few times. In these last few practices, I've done it. Just working with Sheldon on the spin, working with David on the cross chop and arm over, things like that, and Big Mouth helping me get my hands quicker, things like that. So it's been an all-around effort from the guys helping each other.
All right, I think that wraps it up. Thanks, Malcolm.
All right, thank y'all.
Thanks, everybody. That concludes today's availability. Yeah, I know.